You got it going?
Yep.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 9:13. If everybody will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and then going through, we'll do the roll call. Mayor Mosher is present. Deputy Mayor Trustee Patterson. Present. Trustee Crawford is absent. Trustee Wolf. Here. And Trustee Smith. Present. And Clerk McQuay.
Here.
Right, and Jean is unable to attend as well. So that's everybody here. The first pressing matter that we have to discuss today, the main thing was to handle and accomplish old business. But yesterday, I received a call from Eric Wohlers from the health department, and then in regards to the village being in violation with our water system with daily monitoring and reporting, and then he ended up sending a lengthy email. I forwarded that to all of the trustees. I will go ahead and read this to the public because this is very, very dire, and this is actually something that everybody needs to listen to and have a complete understanding of. Mr. Wohlers sent, Dear Dan, I tried calling you earlier but could only leave a message, and tried calling Tom also, but the call would not go through. In short, it is noted in my voice message, the village will soon be receiving violation notices for failure to submit monthly operation reports for April and May. Furthermore, there will likely be additional violations for failure to properly report turbidity readings. The current situation needs to be rectified quickly, and this will surely require your full understanding and involvement. A more detailed explanation follows. The health department has increasing concern about the operations and management of the village's water system. You need to be aware that the village's system is regulated as a surface water system because its spring sources are shallow and were determined to be under the influence of surface water years ago. The technical term for this is GWUDI, which is groundwater under the direct influence of surface water. As such, the village's system is subject to a more rigorous monitoring regime than a typical groundwater, quote-unquote, well system. Then he provided a table which outlines filtered water turbidity, raw water turbidity, and distribution point turbidity, stating on what we have to do with that. And going on with his email, he wrote, as you can see from these tables, as GWUDI system continuous monitoring for composite filter effluent is required. This requirement is currently being met through the use of the computerized SCADA, which is Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System that was installed a few years ago. However, since mid-November 2014, when the previous operator in responsible, which will be known as ORC down the road, left the village, current village staff have been unable to generate the required monthly operation report, which is MOR in short, showing representative data readings every 4 hours from the SCADA system. Table 15, which is in regards to what Mr. Wohlers sent in along with the email, only requires that a chlorine residual be measured 3 times a day, which is once every 8 hours. The village's system also continuously monitors for free chlorine residual. The MOR requires that representative data readings from the SCADA system be recorded every 4 hours to ensure adequate monitoring. Again, these data are not being submitted to the health department. In mid-December 2014, the department's water resources specialist, Dr. Christopher Crawford, was contacted by interim ORC, Mr. Greg Rogan, to assist in completion of the November 2014 MOR. After providing some assistance to Mr. Rogan, Dr. Crawford came to the conclusion that the operation report could not be generated except by someone with a good understanding of Microsoft Excel. As an interim measure, Dr. Crawford allowed the village to submit a modified report until such time that he could write a program to generate the report without the user needing extensive knowledge of Excel. In early January 2015, Dr. Crawford met with Mr. Corey Gross to examine existing process by which SCADA data is delivered to the village, how it is stored, utilized, and used to generate a monthly operation report. This visit confirmed Dr. Crawford's suspicion that generation of the MOR was somewhat cumbersome and SCADA data was not being stored efficiently or used to actively manage the system. Specifically, data was being stored, or at least that is where it was being accessed from, in the water department's email account and spreadsheets sent to the village on a weekly basis. It was not being stored in a back-end database for easy access and analysis. Additionally, after creating some graphs of the data, it was determined that chlorine residuals were undergoing significant fluctuation on a 3 to 4 day basis. This fluctuation has yet to be addressed. To address the first concern, Dr. Crawford wrote a Visual Basic program to automatically generate the MOR and provide a monthly graph of key water quality parameters based on the Excel spreadsheets the village was receiving in the water department's email account. This was completed by late February and presented to Mr. Gross for the village's use. Initially, Mr. Gross had difficulty with the program, and it was determined that Microsoft Access, which is a necessary component of the program Dr. Crawford developed, was missing. Mr. Gross purchased the program in early April, conveyed to us he was successful in generating an MOR using it for March 2015. However, this MOR never reached our department. As you are aware, Mr. Gross has left employment with the village, and earlier this week, Dr. Crawford received a call from interim ORC, Mr. Rogan, to aid him in completing the MOR. Dr. Crawford assisted Mr. Rogan in some time, but a report was not generated. During his travels on Thursday, Dr. Crawford stopped into the village's DPW garage with the hope of working with Mr. Rogan. Although Mr. Rogan wasn't present, he did have the opportunity to talk to Mr. John Wolf, Deputy Public Works Director, and to use the village's computer to generate the MOR for April. Dr. Crawford was successful in generating most of the report. The raw data for the end of April was not available, and as a result, multiple exceedances of the turbidity limit were noted. While the report has not been officially submitted, it is likely the village will receive numerous turbidity violations for April 2015. And this is in cap and bold. It must be noted that the department has not received an acceptable monthly operation report since October 2014. While the CCHD is able to provide assistance and extend timeframes during times of transition, such as have been occurring in recent months in the village, we have lost significant confidence in the village's ability to provide safe drinking water to its residents, as evidenced by the probable turbidity exceedances and continuing inability to perform the minimal reporting requirements associated with the monthly operating report. During his visit with Mr. Wolf, Dr. Crawford requested that the relevant village staff and officials meet to determine a short-term plan for ensuring that required reporting is performed and that appropriate actions are taken in response to existing monitoring. Additionally, a long-term plan needs to be developed to ensure that the system will be placed in the control of a properly qualified and certified operator capable of performing all necessary operational, managerial, maintenance, monitoring, and reporting tasks. An initial meeting to address these short-term issues must occur within 1 week. After village staff and officials have met to generate ideas on how to address these issues, myself and Dr. Crawford request that you contact us no later than Wednesday, May 27th, to schedule a meeting with us in Cattaraugus to be held no later than Friday, May 29th. During this meeting, we will discuss not only your short-term plan, but also begin the long-term discussion on ensuring the quality management of the village's water system. While I understand your tenure so far as mayor has been short, we believe the short time frame for this meeting is necessary to ensure the residents' health and safety and begin the process of getting the village's water monitoring program back on track. If you have any questions, please contact my office directly or Dr. Crawford directly. Sincerely, Eric Wohlers, Environmental Health Director, Cattaraugus County Health Department. So in essence, what that all states is that ever since Jason left resigned from his position, the county has not received an MOR report, and our turbidity levels has been unsafe on a 3 to 4 day basis, and so our water has been unsafe for our residents to drink per the state's guidelines, and so we're going to be receiving violation notices. I don't know if this is including fines or anything like that, but this, I would assume so, but this supersedes anything else that the village has going on at this point in time. Obviously with the village or with the public's health. I mean, you're talking kids, elderly, just it's everybody's health. I know I drink water every day, and for this not to be taken care of is, and for it to go the way that it has, and not to have the urgency that is needed, we have to get this somehow taken care of. I mean, granted, Mr. Gross dropped the ball Greg has dropped the ball. I would assume the previous board was well aware of everything that was going on. I'm sure Mr. Wohlers contacted at least the mayor to let them know of where we stood with MORs and that this needs to be sent to him. Hopefully early next week we'll be able to have a meeting with him, but we need to discuss all of this in regards to what we're going to do with a short-term plan, with a long-term plan, and also we have to deal with personnel matters as well on how to correct this, because this is a very, very serious issue.
Who's familiar with the reporting besides Dr. Crawford?
The only two.
Nobody sounds like, right?
Nobody in the village has. I mean, I know that.
Not in employment capacity.
Not in employment capacity, nobody.
What, we have any other correspondence from now? I mean, you got this letter. Is there any other reports or letters or anything? So this is the first time the health department has notified us of this?
That I'm aware of.
Our board and us, you know.
Well, they probably let the lack of reporting slide for so long, and then it's come to a head right now. But what bothers me is that they haven't had any operating reporting since October, but they're only lacking April and May.
Exactly. And
What's going on from October to April?
From the email.
Well,
I mean,
when
it's
I
6
attended
months.
board meetings prior, that when Jason resigned from being DPW superintendent, he said that, excuse me, he met with Toad and showed him how to go over the system and how to do everything properly, and that Toad stated that he had a clear understanding of how this is to work, and so that he can continue on, so that the village doesn't is not in violation. Obviously, that's not been the case. And then Dr. Crawford met with Toad directly, and even created out with another report. Because of what?
Two separate times, Mr. Crawford came and
Yes.
generated reports.
Well, actually 3, because he did it once with Corey.
At Toad's request.
Huh?
At Toad's request, he came in.
Yes,
Is
twice
what I
at
read.
Toad's request.
Right, and still never sent a report. And he even changed it so it wasn't gonna be in Excel, so that we could still get the reports to them, so that we wouldn't be in violation.
Yeah.
So now
Should
that,
Mr. Rogan be president here?
well, this is
I
stuff
don't
that we need to
understand.
discuss.
I don't understand where Mr. Rogan's at fault. For the simple fact, from what I read here, he contacted them in November when he needed help.
Mhm.
And then Corey Gross came in, and then the rest of that letter addresses that the guy, that Mr. Crawford worked with Corey Gross.
Mhm.
And then once Corey resigned last week, then Toad got back in touch again with these guys to let them know, so. I guess I don't understand, Toad hasn't been a big part of the process from the sounds of it, Corey Gross has.
Well, in regards to it, I mean,
Hang on a second.
he still has to send a report, and Mr. Crawford worked with him on how to do such, and nothing was, the report still was never sent.
Yeah, but to me,
Even when you had Corey and Toad. First it was just Toad, then you added Corey into the mix, and now it's Toad again, and yet the village, and the
Who
county
runs?
is still receiving.
Can we call Greg right now?
yeah, I would like to get him in here for.
This is crucial. I mean, there needs to be a game plan within.
Bottom line is, okay, who does this fall under, DPW super, or does it fall under, that's what I wanna know, because where is Toad's liability?
Superintendent is not part of the issue, that position, we're talking about operator and
Water
responsible.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, and Toad is the operator?
At the moment, yes.
Because it says here, I thought it says it was interim.
I
And then
think
Corey-
right now,
Has he been interim for 6 months, or has he just been
Yes,
interim
because Corey did not have the proper licenses.
So why then was he not dealing with Toad here in this thing, why was he dealing with Corey?
well,
Well, I think that's something that's been very unclear to a lot of people, is who is truly in the, I don't know, leadership versus operator position, I think got kind of muddled there.
in all honesty, I think we need to, I mean, if there is any finger pointing going on, I think it needs to be set aside. And I think all the people present to collaborate and get this job done should be present now.
Well,
Who should
yeah,
be
I don't care about, finger pointing's not the option.
No, but we have to
Yes.
clean it up. We have to get this taken care of immediately. This is not something that we can continue to allow. I mean, bottom line, Greg has been unable to meet the requirements that the county is requiring for setting the reports. So now we have to come up with, A, to find somebody that can do it, and B, to submit everything. This is just for short-term plan, and then we have to do something for a long-term plan to have this taken care of, because the way it's going right now is not suffice, and it can't continue this way. The person that's in charge of handling the water is, as per this email from what I've read, and I've read it numerous times, is incapable of doing such. So we have to find somebody to handle our water system and to get our turbidity levels to the point where they need to be, so that our water is not in violation and that it is safe to drink. I mean,
Well, just because it's in violation doesn't necessarily mean that it's not safe to drink.
That's
They
correct.
don't have the reports to show, to prove that.
Right.
Can I explain that for a second?
Yeah.
Turbidity, okay, is a measurement of the cloudiness in your water, and the unit for that is a turbidity unit. It's just how it is. It doesn't necessarily reflect the safety of the water. Okay, now there are standards to which a health department will hold you on that, and that's by written law what's determined to be safe. Okay, now exceeding that does not necessarily mean the water is unsafe to drink. We're not sure if any point in this time frame the water has truly been unfit for drinking.
Exactly.
But the problem is, with the way the system is set up, if your monitoring is off for a little while and you don't fix it, you don't know, period.
Right.
It could be, you know, with the readings we're getting right now at this very minute, it could say we're in the clear, while instead we are way over on turbidity. You just don't know. It would take a lot of time to get that straightened out. You need to let a lot of water be run through the system while you're actively working on it. It's not something that will be a fix it tomorrow sort of thing.
Jason, when did you resign again?
End of November.
Okay. And the last report that you supplied, do you remember?
October.
It was October, okay.
You're always a month behind.
Right. And according to those reports, did everything seem relatively fine?
With turbidity?
Yeah.
We had some
With,
turbidity issues, but I mean, it's something that needs to be monitored.
but with
I mean,
the drinking water itself, everything seemed up to par.
Right now, the only way the health department's not making you boil water. There's not an issue there. It's displeasing to look at, and probably maybe could be not the best of taste right now, but it is in violation. And we've had a couple of violations, turbidity violations over 8 years.
Okay.
But not as many in a row.
Right.
And without the correct monitoring, it's unsure to tell how many there are.
And when you're the super here, who's that fall under?
The superintendent, I was also a water operator in charge.
Okay, so it's kind of a job that should kind of.
Typically, I know when I left, Todd became the operator, Greg became the operator in charge.
Okay.
And then I don't know if that ever had changed when Corey showed, if they changed it.
Well, I guess
Or
I was
not.
assuming it. 'cause
His
it's
license,
different
his license did not qualify him he did not have a 2A license. He had a B, I think a B, C, and a D.
from- And Toad and John are the only two here now that have that, or does Johnny have it?
John has a D license.
Okay.
No, John has a C license. John has a C license.
Okay.
And Greg is working.
Toad has a 2A license, but also needs to obtain a D license. The head operator is supposed to have a 2A and a D, and then you're supposed to have a backup operator that could only happen to have the 2A. So when we were here, I had the 2, Toad had the 2A, he was the backup.
What is the, okay, in a nutshell, what is the D portion of the license?
Distribution, it's just a small, it's usually
Okay,
just
so
a-
it's nothing.
Just talks, the 2A is about, is your treatment and your source supply and all that.
Okay.
A D is distribution, it talks about, it's just a course and through your distribution line, supplying houses, different things that go with it. It's a fairly simple course.
Okay, but what he has is the key to the license, correct?
Toad has a 2A, yes.
Yeah, that's the key, okay.
So, and I don't know how everything was on the health department with it before. My understanding is it says it in there when I heard it, I don't have it in front of me, but it says he had an April and something reports, but none of them were completed to the full extent. So that's why it says you haven't received them.
Yeah, they received some readings.
They've received some, but they weren't full operation reports.
Right.
What I kind of heard, we need to go on that. So, there's ways to remedy it. I'd have to look and see. I mean, everything was sent and everything was saved. I don't know. I mean, there's ways out.
Well, I think that we need to go into executive session to discuss the personnel in regards to this, the action that needs to take place in regards to it, and possibly who can help us in regards to getting this resolved, because again, it's classifying underneath the water operator, as Mr. Wooler's put in the email, not necessarily DPW superintendent.
yeah, we need to end the idea that those two things are
I'm gonna make
the
a
same.
motion and.
I motion to go to executive session.
Thank you. I
Second.
All right,
I did
Board made
first.
the motion, Bo made the second to go to executive All in
Okay, and the
favor?
reason for going into
for
executive?
personnel matters. And also that we have both Rose be attendance for it. And also request that Mr. Offerback will be able to, because he was a previous operator, water operator, to give some advice in regards to this as well. Request that he be present as well. Are any opposed to both Rose and Jason being present for this?
Absolutely not.
No,
Work?
No, it's fine.
Okay, so all in favor to go into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, proven carried.
Word, I can step out anytime.